Colby Lanham hit me up on Twitter and asked how much can Clemson's new offense make up for its inconsistent play at wide receiver.
Hello everyone and welcome to the No Huddle Football channel. In this video we will discuss one of the biggest college football programs in the country and its huge offseason move to hire a new offensive coordinator. The Clemson Tigers are a revered college football program, but the past two seasons have dwindled the shine on this ACC powerhouse. After an undefeated season in 2020, which culminated in a 42-25 loss in the national championship game to the LSU Tigers, the program has felt a sting of mediocrity. While the departure of Trevor Lawrence hurt, the team still has possessed Dabo Swinney as his incredible ability to recruit some of the best in the nation. However, the Tigers have struggled offensively. In the 2022 season, junior quarterback DJ Uiagalelei struggled and eventually was replaced in the ACC title game against North Carolina by the freshman Cade Klubnik. Before we get too far into this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel where we post more college football content like this video. Klubnik later won the ACC Championship MVP honors, completing 20 of 24 passes for 279 yards and a touchdown while rushing for 30 yards on 7 attempts, and he even hauled in a 19-yard catch. With a dangerous wide receiver like Antonio Williams and talented running backs like Will Shipley, Klubnik has plenty of options at his disposal. What Clemson fans should be optimistic about is the arrival of new offensive coordinator Garrett Riley. For those unfamiliar with Riley, he was offensive coordinator at the 2022 season for the Texas Christian Horned Frogs, but his success also includes when he was offensive coordinator for the Southern Methodist University SMU Mustangs for 2022 and 2021. In his first season as the OC of the 2020 Mustangs, posted a 38.6 points per game and ranked 15th nationally. The following season, the offense improved to 10th nationally with transfer quarterback Tanner Mordecai at the helm of the SMU averaged 38.4 points per game. For TCU, he took senior quarterback Max Duggan and transformed into a Heisman Trophy finalist in 2022. Duggan headed into his senior season having a career-best 2,077 yards, which he did in his first season, and 16 touchdowns, which he did in his junior season. He shattered both of these in his lone year with Riley as the OC with almost 3,700 yards passing and 32 touchdowns. Riley also utilized TCU running back Kendre Miller effectively, also as he posted a career best in rushing yards, almost 1,417 touchdowns. TCU also ran the ball 54% of the time under Garrett Riley. According to Pro Football Focus, heading into the 2023 season, Riley received the top spot for the offensive coordinators in college football. For a team like Clemson, this signifies the team wants to return to college football playoff in 2023. Success is almost synonymous with Clemson football, and from 2015 to 2020, the Tigers easily ranked as a top 5 football program in the country. After missing out 2 postseasons in 2021 and 2022, the Tigers are determined not to make it 3 in a row. With Riley as the OC, Dabo Swinney still at the helm, Clemson looks poised for a big turnaround. But let's talk about how this offensive approach can translate to Clemson football and its team's personnel. In short, Riley balances a good rushing attack that wears down defense before airing the ball out for big plays, something Clemson can use since it has done away with the option plays for wide receivers. First, the quarterback situation. Cade Klubnik looks promising after a decent freshman season in relief of DJ Uiagalelei. His 2 games where he got extensive play shows 2 halves. In the ACC Championship game, a young man capable of delivering and taking on the role of the starter in strides. Against Tennessee, however, he looked like a quarterback that was not accustomed to the college football level. That just happens when you take a young kid who is not the usual starter and thrust him into a serious role like QB for the Tigers. It's safe to say Clemson fans saw both possible outcomes with Klubnik at the helm. It can be taken with optimism or skepticism. Both are equally warranted. It will be interesting, though, to see how the sophomore plays in the full season as starting QB. Not only because Clemson gets a full season from him, but there is always a chance of a sophomore slump. Let's go with the optimistic approach, however, because of Garrett Riley. If Riley can work with a guy like Klubnik and get him to the same high-performance level as he did with Max Duggan at TCU, then Clemson has a great chance of owning a dangerous offense reminiscent of the Lawrence era. With this play style, it would be safe to assume that Clemson's offense relies on Shipley more, and this may give the junior running back a chance to improve this season. For Clemson fans, that must be exciting because Shipley already proved he's one of the best college football running backs in the country, and he's coming off a season where he rushed for almost 1,200 yards and scored 15 touchdowns.
This luxury offense tonight and delivers down the field. Shipley makes the catch and scores.
So, imagine Shipley being utilized 54% of the time. It is a chance for a great running back to become even greater, and that is so exciting to think about. Another thing about the offense that Garrett Riley is going to implement with a running back like this, it gives Klubnik an opportunity to air the ball out to guys like Antonio Williams, who's your deep ball threat for the big plays. Think of it this way. And this point was touched on by J.D. Pickell, but running the ball down the throat of defense will wear down that defensive line and the safeties. A guy like Will Shipley running the ball at the defense 54% of the time, or just say 2 to 3 times every set of downs, it gets the defense into a rhythm and gets them stepping closer and closer to the line to potentially stop that run. If the corners and safeties are accustomed to setting up a certain amount of yards away from the line, and Shipley runs it up the gut, the secondary comes in to stop it. Then Shipley does it again. Maybe the third play, the corner safeties cheat a little bit more in case Shipley runs it again to stop him in the backfield or at least at the line of scrimmage. This also creates a tempo change with running the ball and it runs the clock. It allows no huddle offense and the potential to catch the defense out of position, whether on the line or in coverage. Now, breaking that down, wearing down the defense with the run creates a better opportunity for success in the passing game. Going back to Antonio Williams and how dangerous he can be, while he wears that number 0, Williams has proved he is capable of being the number 1 receiver for the Clemson football team, and that he's looking to head back to the college football playoffs. Out of the 14 games he's played, he started 10 of them last season and posted 56 catches and 604 yards with 4 touchdowns. He led the team in receptions and yards for the Tigers in his freshman season. Now, with Joseph Ngata heading to the NFL, who was the Tigers' number 2 receiver, this puts more on Williams as a clear top option in the passing game. Not only that, Davis Allen, the solid tight end who hauled in 5 touchdowns his senior season, is also going to be an NFL hopeful. So the opportunity is there for Williams to blossom into what every Clemson football fan wants him to be. A dangerous deep ball threat that's going to strike fear into every defense the Tigers play this season. I want to harp on the running game a little bit more because it does affect the passing game as well. Like we mentioned previously, a breakdown in coverage is more likely to occur in a fast-paced, up-tempo offense. But you get a coverage lapse, then Antonio Williams can get past the secondary more easily than before and break off big plays. Now, it's not going to boil down to such a simple formula as the old football saying goes. It's not the X's and O's, it's the Johnny and Joes that make the difference. Let's switch gears and talk about potential receiver that Clemson fans should be excited about as well. That's wide receiver Noble Johnson from Rockwell, Texas. Now, he came in the 2023 recruiting class and has really impressed so far this spring. Other notable standouts so far in the spring, obviously the headlining guy would be the 5-star tackle, Peter Woods. Not to mention another 4-star defensive end, Tamarian Parker. A lot of highly touted prospects Clemson got on the defensive side of the ball. But Noble Johnson is a 4-star in his own right. 6'3", 205 pounds. He's the bigger size to what Williams is. In the spring, fans will see how his game will translate to the college level, but there's potential as a big receiver to thrive in this deep passing game. From an optimistic perspective, so far we've discussed how Klubnik can be at the same level, Antonio Williams, Noble Johnson, the third being unproven, but a lot of promise for a good OC like Garrett Riley. Now, this isn't to say that this team is going to come out of the gates firing like the 2020 team did or some of the earlier teams with Deshaun Watson, who won national championships. Realistically, this Clemson team is going to need time to adjust to the new offensive scheme, and they're already starting to do that in the spring, as we saw during the spring football game. How quickly the Tigers can adjust will be a good barometer during the season. The schedule is looking very favorable for the Tigers, as their first game against Duke, while not on the same plane of success, Duke is a pesky ACC foe that Clemson's had to deal with in the past. They then face Charleston Southern and Florida Atlantic before they have their big-time Week 4 matchup against the Florida State Seminoles in Death Valley. By then, this team hopefully will be locked into rhythm with the new offense. After that, they're going to face Syracuse, Miami, Wake Forest, NC State, and then they have a late-season home game against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. The 2 games out of this list that stand out the most are obviously the FSU game and the Notre Dame game. If the Clemson Tigers can win both of these, the playoff spot looks very, very likely. But if they lose in both of these, it may be a third straight year where the Clemson Tigers fall short of what their expectations are. In the final 3 games, they'll play against Georgia Tech, North Carolina, and South Carolina. These all 3 could be crucial, especially the South Carolina game after getting beat by the Gamecocks last year. If Riley can work his magic with this Clemson offense like he did at SMU and with TCU, then the Tigers may be off to a great season. Let us know what you think in the comments below about the Clemson's upcoming season. What recruits are you most excited about seeing this season? Who do you think will have the best season with Riley as an offensive coordinator?